Tonight on Connecticut's news station, collapsed bridges in one community leaving families stranded. We're tracking the efforts underway to rescue people and find a temporary solution for the deteriorating roads.
We're well prepared, we're well resourced in advance of Hurricane Lee.
And while Connecticut isn't expected to see major impacts from Hurricane Lee, Eversource says it's still prepared. What they're doing ahead of the storm.
Plus, the mayoral race in one city is stirring up controversy. One challenger says the election was stolen. The other one says he's a disgruntled loser. We're hearing from both sides.
Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And good evening, and thanks for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Brent Hartman.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. 2 bridges have collapsed and a third is severely damaged in the town of Scotland after the severe flooding we saw yesterday.
Yeah, since then, families have been stranded and rescue efforts are underway. Fox 61's Carmen Chow has the latest.
Brent and Sarah, the first selectman told me they have never seen water like this before in the town of Scotland. Right now, I'm on Brook Road where 2 of those bridges have collapsed. And for now, crews have put up orange cones, a pile of dirt and a road closed sign letting people know to stay back. Because of this collapse, residents on this road have been stranded since yesterday afternoon. The third bridge that is severely damaged is located on Bass Road, which is not far from here at all. The collapse and the damage all happened between the hours of 4 to 8:30 yesterday. The heavy rain left 8 to 10 inches of water on top of these bridges, which led to the collapse. Since then, 6 homes between these 2 bridges have been stranded, and the town is working on a temporary solution tonight to evacuate everyone out of their homes, since these bridges are typically the only way for them to get from point A to point B. A temporary solution the town is looking at is getting a dry support bridge from the National Guard, possibly in Niantic. The first selectman stated bridges of this nature cost $3.5 million. And we're talking about 3 bridges here, so this can cost the town well over $10 million total.
It's definitely frustrating because the bridge looks like it's okay, but it's not. There's a sinkhole and I reached my arm down in and I could get all the way down to my shoulder and I couldn't touch. So I knew I was laying on just air and asphalt.
It's terrifying too because I drive this every day. And if I had been like driving on it while it had fallen or anything, you know, it's a little terrifying. Right. So, I mean, if I had my daughter with me too, it's like, oh my goodness.
We've got a landowner who owns land between the damaged bridges and another road that's open. And he's got a cornfield and he's allowing us to transport people through his cornfield up to the other road.
School was also closed today because of this, and they're still unsure about tomorrow. But their biggest focus tonight is making sure all of those families are safely evacuated. Reporting in Scotland, Carmen Chow, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Carmen, thank you. New tonight, the National Weather Service has confirmed that the storm damage in Killingly was caused by a tornado. Surveyors were in the area today. The National Weather Service says a team is still working to determine whether this was just one tornado or whether there were multiple touchdowns. And Eversource says it's ready to respond to Hurricane Lee this weekend. Officials saying the recent rain has made the ground saturated, which could cause problems.
With trees that are still have a full canopy of leaves and that saturated ground, that is highly likely to topple over roadside trees and cause power outages and potentially significant power outages.
The company says they are getting equipment in place ahead of the storm and they are bringing in additional line workers to assist with any power outages. Officials also recommend that you have an emergency kit ready with flashlights and make sure your cell phone is charged.
Dried out for today, thankfully, and it ended up being a really nice day outside.
Really beautiful day out there. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frayne joining us now with a look at the forecast. Rach.
Yeah, September weather is back. The humidity has moved out and we've got blue skies ahead. Temperature right now of 74 degrees. We're in the mid 70s and even upper 70s for the shoreline and upper 60s currently in Waterbury. Overnight tonight, it gets really refreshing with low temperatures starting in the 50s heading towards daybreak tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll see increasing clouds clouds, but it'll be a nice day overall. Those clouds will actually be part of the rain or cloud shield, I should say, from Hurricane Lee. We do stay dry tomorrow, and it looks like we may stay dry on Saturday for a lot of folks as well. So regarding Lee, we should see minimal impacts overall. I do think it's good that Eversource is preparing for the eventuality of outages, especially in eastern Massachusetts, where they will be far more numerous. Here's a look at the storm passing to the west of Bermuda. It's continuing to weaken, a Category 1 right now, but the wind field is quite large, and it will make its closest pass to us in Connecticut heading into early Saturday morning. We're not expecting flooding rain. Most, if all of us, may end up staying dry, although there is a chance for a spot shower in eastern areas. Gusts mainly between 25 to 35 miles per hour. There could be a couple spots that get to 40 miles per hour. We are not anticipating coastal flooding, and you should be able to get around just fine, at least here in Connecticut, as we head through the day on Saturday. It's a different story for our friends and neighbors to the east. We'll take a closer look at this storm and step you through the weekend coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. A crash involving a car and farm tractor is under investigation in East Granby. Police say it happened on Floydville Road just before 9:30 this morning. Serious injuries were reported, but it's unclear how many people were hurt. The road was shut down in both directions for some time, and the cause of the crash is still under investigation. To Bridgeport now, where we're following the controversy surrounding the mayoral primary. Mayor Joe Garten appears to have won Tuesday's primary.
But his challenger, John Gomes, is saying the election was stolen. Fox 61's Matt Caron talked to both of them today.
Well, both candidates are locked in a war of words. Just 250 votes separates Joe Garten from John Gomes. John Gomes was in the lead until the absentee ballots were counted. Down but not out. John Gomes vows to fight on to November.
I will be running on November 7th. I'll be on the independent line.
We sat down with the Gomes campaign at his headquarters in Bridgeport. He's accusing the Garten campaign of illegally soliciting absentee ballot applications.
At the end of the night here, our numbers were about almost 500 votes ahead. And if you look at the total application that were mailed out, we were concerned with that from the beginning. We communicated with the Secretary of the State. We said 4,000 AB applications are in the streets. That's unheard of.
Specifically, Gomes accuses the Garten campaign of targeting seniors and low-income voters and working with public housing managers to deny them access to elderly and affordable living complexes. Fox 61 took the accusation to Garten.
Whether it's Gomes or Trump, when you hear that kind of stuff, I don't know. I'm sure they certified results today. If he has issues with them, I'm sure there's a process that he could take a look at. But it's a little bit of sour grapes at this point. We've seen this movie before, but disgruntled losers, frankly.
Another one who's seen this movie before.
It's history repeating itself and deja vu.
State Senator Marilyn Moore knows a little something about Bridgeport. She narrowly lost to Garten in 2019. Also on the absentee ballot count, a criminal investigation still pending into 3 of Garten's aides related to those results.
They know that there are people who have broken the law or suspected of breaking the law with ballots, and that it's posted that there's going to be a criminal investigation. But they're so bold, they continue to do it.
Garten told Fox 61 he's turning his focus to November.
I'll be out, which I enjoy doing, walking, knocking on doors, at public events, talking to people, staying connected in the neighborhoods.
But not before lobbying his own claim that someone aligned with the Gomes campaign was involved in unauthorized activity.
It appears that she's unauthorized in a voter's apartment. A senior who I'm told may have a handicap or dementia, going in there rummaging, apparently looking for something.
Gomes told me he hasn't decided yet if he will file a lawsuit. I did speak today with the Secretary of the State's office. A spokesperson there told me no vote count is official until it is certified by the city clerk. We will report it when it happens. Reporting in Bridgeport, Matt Caron, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Matt, thank you. We have a follow-up now to an exclusive story we brought you on Tuesday. City officials are reacting tonight after Fox 61 uncovered tenants living in deplorable conditions in North Hartford in units owned by a landlord who was recently selected by the city for multi-million-dollar renovation projects in a long-neglected section of Connecticut's capital city. Fox 61's Maya Hernandez has their response.
This is about development along a major avenue that connects Hartford to West Hartford, but after you leave downtown, the level of investment declines. Now, some have tried to change that for decades. 2 major developments are underway, but city officials say they are unaware that tenants were dealing with some problems. Tenants in this 3-family home on Edgewood Street tell Fox 61 they've dealt with years of negligence.
Many of the problems have been since we moved in and have gotten progressively worse over time. And now we're at the point where there's black mold, there's mushrooms, sewage in the basements.
An April letter from a federal housing official lists more than 20 violations. Andalib Properties of Bloomfield was selected to develop 2 major mixed-use sites in the Upper Albany neighborhood, including the old police substation. But 2 tenants tell Fox 61 they have concerns about whether the city did its due diligence on landlord Ace Andalib.
This was the only responsive bidder, and these are projects that the neighborhood has long aspired to get done.
On Thursday, Mayor Luke Bronin said city inspectors have been responsive, but the city will take a closer look across other properties, which Fox 61 learned have been listed in other family members' names, like this Texas address on this eviction notice.
This is a company that has a number of properties that they've rehabilitated and done a pretty nice job of taking some dilapidated properties and bringing them to a better condition, and that has a number of properties that, as far as we know, have not had any significant housing complaints or enforcement issues.
Councilwoman Shirley Surgeon says she was only made aware of any issues this week and wants to ensure they are addressed, saying, quote, "If we don't have good living conditions for our renters, how do we expect our kids to do well in school? So we have to provide a safe, clean environment." Surgeon says the city launched a new initiative and stepped up efforts to inspect 3-family homes earlier this year. We caught up with some of the advocates that have been pushing for these projects. They tell us that they plan to have a meeting on Monday to discuss next steps. In Hartford, I'm Samaya Hernandez, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
A wake will be held for fallen Detective Bobby Garten tomorrow. Governor Ned Lamont speaks about the importance of honoring our fallen officers.
Don't take your men and women in blue for granted. Every day they put their lives at risk, and Officer Garten and his sudden death reminds you of that.
Tomorrow's wake will be held at Duncan Park from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Several streets surrounding Duncan Park will be closed during that time. There will be parking available on Windsor Street for anyone who's attending the wake. A celebration of life will be held on Saturday at the XL Center.